One of you Morlocks has been yelling at me to put Rock Sling on a build in PvP, and I just am beside myself that you would ask me to do that. But here it is. I've done that. I had wanted to make like a gravity build. Regardless, I've got like 3 ideas for builds. Oh no, I had a little notepad on my computer that had the 3 builds I wanted to write. Yeah, it had the 3 builds I wanted to make written down. And it's gone now. I remember one of the other ones. Oh no, okay, I remember them all. We're good. Never mind. Sorry. This was one of the 3 builds I wanted to make. A gravity build. A build that used all the gravity stuff. And so here we are, using all the gravity stuff. This is Lacuna the Void. And I know a lot of people will immediately try and connect that to Lacuna Coil, the band. But I'll be honest, I don't listen to that band. Lacuna just means an unfilled space or interval, a cavity or depression, especially in bone. And so I just thought it was a cool name to kind of invoke space. Look at that. Look at collapsing stars doing work. And here you go. I'll do you one better than Rock Sling. Here's the world's first meteorite of Estelle PvP kill. We're drinking the wondrous physic that gives us infinite casting for 10 seconds so that we can just cast that for 10 seconds. We can cast it for like 13 or 14 seconds once it starts to actually eat into our actual FP. We're using the Meteoric Ore Blade, of course. We've got the Ruins Greatsword, of course. So this build's stats are, you know, a ton of strength. I think we have 45 strength, and then the last 5 comes from the Star Scourge Heirloom. And then we also need 40 intelligence, and the last 5 of that is coming from... Is that right? I'll show the stats at the end of the video. But basically, I have 15 intelligence less than is necessary for Meteorite of Estelle. And then I have a +5 talisman and a +10 intelligence wondrous physic. So the wondrous physic is 10 intelligence and infinite FP. There's that Gravitas into Ichimonji combo that everybody likes so much on the Meteoric Ore Blade. It is fun. If you've never played around with it, you basically just fully charge the heavy attack. And it's like a perfect roll catch if they panic roll. I didn't know that. I knew people liked it, but I didn't know it was a fully charged attack. So, yeah, the Axe Talisman would be something to consider here. You also get insane... It's totally worth it for the Onyx Lord Greatsword, which is a curved Greatsword. But it's called a Greatsword. But the Axe Talisman, heavy attacks with that curved Greatsword would also be devastating brutal. I just don't have the talismans to pull that off. I do, technically. This build's going to change a little bit from this video to the next, to the one after that, because I had a lot of stuff I wanted to doink around with. Collapsing stars is fun. There's no way around it. It's a fun spell. Gravity Well is kind of lackluster. If your opponent has poise, you have to fully charge it in order to get Gravity Well to actually snatch somebody and pull them backwards. It has to be fully charged if they're wearing heavier armor. Collapsing Stars will just pull people back. I don't think it has to be fully charged. We're also using the Flamberge on this build because Radon is most closely associated with gravity magic, and the Flamberge is the symbol of Castle Redmane, and so I thought that would be like a cool little lore tie-in. It's cold infused. All of the weapons on this build that are not somber weapons are all cold infused. And the reason that is because you get intelligence scaling but you also get to keep some physical scaling. Now, the Flamberge is not a good choice for this. If you wanted a good choice for this, you would go Iron Greatsword, the one that you get from the Misbegotten. And I might still do that. That's going to give you good strength scaling and good intelligence scaling. The Flamberge is a dex-leaning weapon, meaning that when you cold infuse it, what it keeps is dex scaling. So the Flamberge is not a great choice for this build, stat-wise, but I thought, like, it's a pretty cool lore thing. It also has a unique one-handed heavy attack, which I don't see a lot of people talk about, but it does. It's not the overhead smash. It's like a overhead sideways kind of thing. We've got the Gravity Stone fans, which are very good. We've got the other Gravity Stone chunks, I believe they're called, which are not as good. But they do have a sort of purpose. They have hit stun on hit, and then they start sprouting rocks. That is so situational, but it is a thing. It is something. The Gravity Stone fans, on the other hand, you just throw them down, and then just a fan of rocks gets pulled up out of the ground in front of you. And that's just good all the time. All the time is it good. We have both versions of Meteorite on this build. Meteorite of Estelle is more expensive, takes more intelligence, and what do you get for that? You just get a whole bunch more meteors, is what you get. A whole bunch more. So, kind of worth. Onyx Lord Repulsion on the Onyx Lord Greatsword, and Onyx Lord's Pull. No, Alabaster Lord Pull on the Alabaster Greatsword, which we also have. And these are both also strength weapons. The Onyx Lord Greatsword, which again is a curved greatsword, requires 16 dex, so that's where our dexterity ended up at. It's a shame that this build is so hungry for stats, because it would be cool to put Radahn's Greatbow on here, but that's extra dex that I just don't have the points to do. I mean, I could just level it up some more. I wouldn't be opposed to doing that. But I haven't yet, and haven't decided that I will do that. Also, of course, we have Night Maiden's Mist. It's like choking to death in outer space. So, one, I love that spell. That's all that's really necessary. And two, it's, kind of thematically appropriate. Celian, the town of Celia, right? They were all about those Night Maiden sorceries, and that was like Radahn's hangout. He for some reason was all about that place. Yeah. Willing to go to war with Millennia there. This invader, I just wants to turn this into a free-for-all, which I kind of understand. I wasn't too mad at it. The Phantom that this guy had summoned was like way lower level than us. And so it's not like these dudes were like, intense, serious gankers or anything. But it kind of just stopped being a free-for-all and sort of just turned into, I think he thought, he was going to kill me. But he was not going to do that. That was not going to happen. And now that this guy's gone, what do you think the host is going to do? Well, of course, resummon his friend is what he's going to do. Why not? Why not? There, rock sling in PvP. First ever time you're ever going to see that. Well, it's not the first time you'll see it. It's the first time you'll see an invader use it. Co-opers love to cast that at you. It's much less efficient when you're an invader. But, yeah, it does have a lot of hit stun. So, that's nice. Oh, also another thing we have on this build. I don't think I'll show it off in this video, but I will later on. Is we have a Lord Sworn Straight Sword with Vacuum Slice. And, I think it rules. Vacuum Slice, space is a vacuum, so I went with that. The Noble Slender Sword has Cragblade on it. It's not great. The reason it's not great is because it wants to go, it's cold infused, so it wants to go dex over strength on the cold infusion. It wants to scale with dex rather than scale with strength. So the Lord Sworn is just like 100 AR better, just noticeably better. But I wanted a straight sword with Cragblade on it, and once we get the Cragblade buff, that extra AR helps kind of close the distance a little bit between the Lord Sworn and the nobles, but it still doesn't match it. I also have that same Ash of War, Cragblade, on a dismounter, and that thing rules. I don't think I show it off in this video. I had just finished the build, basically. I just got my numbers where I wanted them. This is level 139. Like I said, I'll show you the numbers at the end of the video. I just got my numbers where I wanted them, so I was doing some invasions, and I was using the runes that I got from winning to buy upgrades for the weapons that I wanted. But most of the weapons on here are somber, of course. Falling Star Beast Jaw, which is just super annoying. Let's be honest. It's not as annoying as it used to be, but it's still super annoying. That's another one of those weapons that you just always have to pay attention to. It's like Moonveil. It's much more honest than Moonveil, especially if you're not just spamming that Ash of War. But the fact that Ash of War can come out of nowhere as quick as it comes out of nowhere, and has that much hit stun, so like if you are an invader, Falling Star Beast Jaw is, you know, just kind of like whatever. It's just a colossal weapon with a cool Ash of War. Looks cool too. Also, did you know this? I didn't know this. It's pierce damage. It's got magic damage, so like, you know, if you get a counter hit, that counter hit is not going to take that magic damage into account for the bonus damage. But that physical damage can be, you know, increased off a counter hit. And I mean, when you look at it, it should be kind of obvious, I guess, that it's pierce damage, because it's a big pointy mandible. So, yeah. I guess I maybe should have realized that, but I didn't realize it. But that's another weapon that we have on here. And I'm trying to think if there's anything I haven't... Oh, Jar Cannon, obviously. Since we can't have Radahn's Great Bow, the Jar Cannon became like a must-have. We've got the Onyx Lord, we've got the Alabaster Lord, we've got the Lord Sworn Cragblade, Nobles. We've got... Lord Sworn has Vacuum Slice, Nobles has Cragblade. Cragblade, Dismounter, and Meteoric Ore Blade. I think that's everything. I think I've gone over everything. Oh, Saint, why are you using the Academy staff and not the Meteoric staff? The Meteoric staff weighs more. This build needs a ton of endurance and a Jar Seal Talisman, because a ton of endurance by my standards. And when you consider we're trying to be level 139, and we need 50 strength and 50 intelligence, you know, and obviously we need close to 60 vigor. So, like, where is that endurance coming from, right? The Jar Seal Talisman. The Ruined Greatsword is heavy. It's so heavy. It's insanely heavy. So, yeah. That was like a thing we had to take into consideration with the build, was how heavy everything was going to end up being. So yeah, that Academy staff over the Meteoric staff. It has better scaling than the Meteoric staff, but since we're using all gravity spells, it would be like a toss-up. Which one is better? The Academy staff might be slightly better, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. I haven't done like the testing. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Meteoric staff was still the way to go. But the Academy staff weighs less, and it has, you know, good scaling. So there's the stats: 59 vigor, 20 mind, 23 endurance, 50 strength, 16 dex, 45 intelligence. And that's, you know, taking into account, we had 45 strength, but the Star Scourge Talisman gave us 5. We had 40 intelligence, but the Star Seeker Talisman gave us 5. That last talisman slot you can kind of do whatever you want with. But here's a look at all the weapons we have. Those Beastman curve swords, I just picked those up like literally on my way to film this shot. So, yeah. But, oh, we have Waves of Darkness, obviously, on a Troll Knight sword right now. But I'll probably change that to a Watchdog's great sword. Radahn's paired curved great swords. They're not curved. I'm an idiot. Those are just great swords. Those are just paired colossal swords. Yeah, I went with that shield because it has fur on it, sort of like Radahn's armor, and it has like the sun and stars on it, so I thought it was a nice fit. But there's all the weapons that we have. The armor has changed a little bit here. I'll go over that in the next video that I talk about this build. This last talisman slot, I wasn't really sure what to do with. You know, Godfrey Icon will get you some, you know, you can charge certain spells. I mean, Gravity Well and the other one. But yeah, like I said, our Wondrous Physic is eliminates all FP consumption for 10 seconds and 3 minutes of improved intelligence. There's the stats again. I'll have more, and this build kind of changed from this first little batch. I'll see you next time. Until then, later y'all.